Temurah Daf Yud Aleph. As a continuation of yesterday's beautiful machlokes, whether a person can isolate a fetus and say, I want that fetus to be a carbon when the mother is not. Machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Bar Pada. Bar Pada says you cannot do it, Rabbi Yochanan says you can. The Gemara has a question from Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says there are 5 animals that can never become Kaddish Kedushas Haguf. You can't bring them as a carbon. Kalayim, a mixed breed, Yaitza Doifen, an animal born through cesarean, a Treifa, a Tumtum, and a Dragonos. All 5 animals can't become Kaddish, and they can't become Kaddish through Temurah as well. That is, if somebody has an existing Kaddish animal, and he says this cesarean-born animal should be instead of that animal, it also doesn't work. Not only that, says the Gemara, if all these 5 animals already retained Gedusha somehow, you can't use them as a subject for Temurah. You can't say that a Chulin animal should be like them. You're not over at all. There's no Temurah. The question is, how in the world did these animals retain Gedusha? We just said they can't become Kaddish. To answer that, the Gemara says that when it comes to Klein, Tumtum, and Dragonos, you must say that they were Vladis Kadshim. Their mother was Kaddish, and therefore they became Kaddish. When it comes to Yaitza Doifen, to a cesarean-born animal, somebody pointed at the animal, at the fetus, and said it should be Kaddish. So you see, not like Bar Pada, you see that you could make a fetus Kaddish. Therefore, the Gemara changes Bar Pada's Shita completely. Bar Pada admits that if the mother is healthy and has no mum, then somebody could point and isolate her fetus and say, I want that to become a carbon, and it becomes a carbon. Bar Pada only says in a situation when the mother is a balas mum, where she herself can't become Kaddish, so why should her fetus be any better than her? Rabbi Yochanan says, wait a minute, Uber lavi archimai. The fetus has no connection to the mother, so I don't care if the mother can't become Kaddish. I want to make the fetus Kaddish, and therefore, according to Rabbi Yochanan, this is Kedusha. Interesting case of a person shechting an animal, and we find within the animal the fetus who's only in its 4th month of pregnancy. Usually a small animal is 5 months, this is 4 months. What's the difference? We'll see in a second. The halacha is that according to everybody, if they were makdish this animal when she was pregnant, the fetus has a kedusha like the mother as a chatas, and therefore only a kohen can eat the fetus and other halachas that apply to a chatas. However, if they were makdish the animal before she became pregnant, so now it depends. If we hold that there's kedusha to the animal in utero when it's still a fetus, then only a kohen can eat it. But if we say that kedusha is only chal when the animal is born, then anybody could eat it. Now, in fact, if anybody could eat it, then it's chulin. So it comes out you shechted the mother in the Beis Hamikdash, and her fetus is chulin. So we have chulin in the azara. Is that a problem? The Gemara says it's not a problem, because the pasuk that tells us that it's usher to eat chulin in the azara says ki yirchak mucha hamakom v'zavachta. In a situation that we must shech the mother, there's no iser. Later on, the Gemara uses the same answer when the Gemara asks the question, what if the mother is shlamim and the fetus is chulin? If somebody was magdish a limb in an animal and said that this limb should be an oila, as we had yesterday, according to Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Shimon, the Kedusha spreads, it's mispashed in the whole animal becomes Kaddish because it says in the Pasuk, Kol asher yitim mimenu, and then later on it says, V'haya Kaddish. Even mimenu, even part of it, V'haya Kaddish, the whole thing becomes Kaddish. But Remei Rabbi Yehuda say, mimenu, you could be Magdish even part of the animal, and only that part remains Kaddish. So if you made that part of Oila, now what do you do with it? Says the Gemara, you sell this Oila to somebody that said, I want a Oila Harele, Oila B'chayah, he has to bring an Oila that all his vital organs are there. Or another pshat in Rashi is that you sell it to somebody that said, I want to bring a zuz worth of an Oila. So you bring this as an Oila. The Gemara says, Remei Reb Shimon admit that if somebody said on a limb that if you would remove the limb, the animal would die, then of course the Kedusha spreads to the entire animal, and there's other shitas that say they said it by a treifa. That depends on the machlekes whether a treifa could live or not live, and some say that they said it b'negeh to nevela. Rava had a suffix, according to the Man that says that the Kedusha spreads to the whole body. Do we say the same halacha by a bird? Since a bird is also called a carbon, but on the other hand, the Torah says behema. Another shaila he had, if somebody's magdish a limb for its value, for its money, that you have to go ahead and buy with that limb a carbon. Do we say 2 miguis, or typically you only say 1 migui? What would be the 2 miguis? Migui number 1, we say that limb spreads to the whole body. So now you have an animal. Since you were magdish a limb, that's migui number 1, it should spread to the whole body. The whole animal becomes Kaddish Kedushas Damim. Once it's Kaddish Kedushas Damim, let's say migui number 2, Kaddish Kedushas Damim turns into Kaddish Kedushas Aguf, like we have Allah. If somebody says on an animal, this whole animal should become Kaddish Kedushas Damim, it flips into a Kedushas Aguf. Safek Teiku. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that says that if you magdish one limb, it remains Kaddish as is. That limb is Kaddish, it's Asr. So it's Asr to work this animal. But even though 90% of the animal is not Kaddish, but by working it, you are being makhish that limb. You're making that limb less in value, less strong. It's not as strong. And the Gemara remains in a suffix, can you shear the wool of the animal? The Gemara says, don't bring a right from a Bechar that you have a partner with a guy, because over there, the Kedusha never even started, and according to another Lashon, you don't have the right to be Magdish it. What about if somebody makes the hide of the animal Kaddish? Well, you should be able to shear that animal, but what about working the animal? Says the Gemara, it's also to work that animal, because just like if you work a mother animal who's not Kaddish, it's Chulin, but the fetus is Kaddish, we say you're not allowed to work the animal because you will weaken the fetus. So too, over here, you're weakening the hide. And finally, for today, if the mother is Chulin and the fetus is Kachin, you're allowed to shech the mother outside of the Beis HaMikdash. And we don't have to worry that inside her, she has an animal that's a carbon, that's a Kaddish, and you can't shech her outside of Beis HaMikdash, because we're not concerned with the fetus. It says in the pasuk, "L'pesach hayol mayit," since the animal, the fetus, is not right for a carbon right now, we don't have to be concerned with her. Have a wonderful day.